Three, two, one. Hello, Blactrospective beauties. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the show. I have with me Black Voters Matter community organizer Jamil Davis. We have an exciting episode today. You want to say what up, what up, what up, Jamil?
Hey y'all, all the things, salutations. This is Jamil Davis, North Florida League Regional Organizer for Black Voters Matter, also host of BLKFLA, the podcast. We'll probably get into that a little bit as well. And just an all around, great person, all the things. But yeah,
Hey. Thank you, Jamil. I felt like you were the best person for this episode because it's from the ballot to the block and the importance of like local elections and state elections because it's going big this year. We have the governor's race, we have all the local elections, and you've been doing this thing for a while. So tell the people a little bit about you. Like, how long have you been in the game? What got you started in politics? Tell us all the tings.
all the teams. No, I've really been organizing for almost going on like 15 years now. Just within the community, I've been with Black Voters Matter. It'll literally be 6 years in May that I've been a part of the organization, and doing a lot of great work across the state. And now, thankfully, just being relegated to everything on I-10, which I feel is an important piece of Florida that is hugely ignored because so many people just feel like it's a GOP slash MAGA hotbed. But what you don't really know unless you do research is that the top 10 counties in the state of Florida with the highest percentage of black population, only two of them aren't in North Florida. And those two literally are Broward County and Orange County. Everything else is in North Florida, and a great deal of them are like your rural counties within North Florida. So that's why North Florida is really important to me, outside of the fact that North Florida is like literally the only area of Florida that I've ever legitimately lived in. Starting in Panama City, then moving to Pensacola, and now currently where I'm at in Jacksonville.
Okay. No, that's fantastic. And you right there by the Capitol, right? So like you're in the action all the time. So you see the impacts, and it's so close to you. Is that like how you got activated? Is like North Florida very political in a sense? And like what? How old were you when you got started?
Um, really, I really can't like pinpoint an age. So I think I would just say I really, really got started um 2011, 2012. I feel like this is the same answer that a lot of organizers within this era of organizing give. I literally got started after the murder of Trayvon Martin.
Okay.
Like Trayvon was like the
Yes,
catalyst
me too.
for
Me
me.
too.
And then even before then, I want to say a few years prior to that, in Panama City, there was a young black kid by the name of Martin Lee Anderson. He was actually killed at a juvenile boot camp in in Panama City.
Oh wow.
And there was huge protests across the city and across pockets of North Florida as well, to try to get juvenile boot camps eliminated across the state. It's really one of the first actions and cases that kicked off the career of Ben Crump, and a lot of the student organizers that came from various Tallahassee schools to Panama City to help organize in that ended up becoming the organizers who started Dream Defenders. So it was kind of like the preamble, if you will, to
Yeah,
Dream Defenders.
yeah.
But then Dream Defenders, of course, really kicked off after the death of Trayvon Martin. And so, yeah, that was my like those two. It was like my initial start. Um, really started doing a lot of organizing within my community in Panama City before I moved to Pensacola in like 2016, 2017. Linked up with a couple of dope organizers in that area. And then in 2018, 2019, we started the Pensacola chapter of Dream Defenders. And then from there, because of the work that I was doing around Dream Defenders in like May of 2020 is when I first started working with Black Voters Matter, and I've just been with BVM ever since.
No, no, that's so fantastic. And what you say is so relevant to me too, because I remember like hearing the case and just knowing that it was a shoe-in and as far as a conviction, like thinking like, okay, you hear the tape, you hear the police, you hear the like operator telling him to like leave it be. So there's no way that this man is going to get away with murder. And I think that was, if I if I had rose-colored glasses at that point, I'm pretty sure the lenses started to come off at that point. I was like, this is real. So I am so happy that you turned it into something that was productive, because like we know there's a lot of people that sometimes it's like there's a lot of complaining but there's not action, because they simply just don't know what to do with all the frustration, like how to get into it. So I just applaud you. I've ran into you, seen you a couple of times. I don't know if you see on my Blactrospective page, but you on there and you have like a powerful poem. And I remember when you said that poem in Eatonville, and like the list of names kept going on and on and on. And when I was looking around the room of people, and like I remember one of my friends was in tears because you realize how many victims to murder by police brutality that there is, and it's unfortunate to say that the list is still going on. You know what I mean? So like I said, I'm really excited about this. You guys, we have a living legend in these streets in terms of like fighting for just social justice, like uplifting voices. He was at the day at the Capitol. So he's in there, he's with an organization. And I always say, join an organization. Like if you want to move in a union, because we can do so much more with it. Thank you for that introduction. I know we have a lot to cover in the span of an hour, so I'm gonna just get into it, because you work around voting so much, and you specifically target, I believe, the Black community, like Black Voters Matter. So why do you think that this election is so important, and what have you heard in regards to like confusion and like the intensity surrounding this specific election cycle, whether that's local or whether that's statewide?
Ooh. So first and foremost, the work we do at Black Voters Matter, I feel like is really key, especially here in the state of Florida, because we're essentially really a power building organization, helping other small grassroots orgs to build capacity for their particular nonprofits and particular organizations. We basically just find the people that's already doing the work on the ground and bless them with the resources that they need in order to further the work that they're doing. And so this election cycle, and I know we say this like every day, time and time again, is the most important election that is going to happen in our lifetime until we possibly get to the next one. But it's key, and I think a great example of the situation literally is what happened a couple of nights ago in Texas, with the Texas Democratic primary, and
Yes.
really watching, really watching in real time the voter suppression and the voter intimidation that occurred within Texas, especially within Dallas County. People literally going to precincts that they would normally go to and being told this isn't their precinct anymore and that you have to go to this precinct in order to vote. Some of those people missing the allotted time that it takes. Because when most elections, polls close at 7, but if you're in line by 7, then you're still good to vote. Federal judge in Texas extended the time to 9 p.m. so that those people who were being rerouted to other precincts would be able to vote. And the and then there was another court who literally overturned that and was like, no, that's not happening. And so most of and it was like, and on top of that, we have to go through the ballots so that everybody who voted after 7 p.m., their votes aren't going to count.
Whoa.
But the issue becomes, if I'm in line before 7 p.m., I'm still able to vote even if I haven't gotten into the precinct at 7 p.m. I was in line before that, so I
Right.
should be able. My ballot won't count, and so voter suppression in real time. Us in other states that have looked at what happened in Texas, trying to plan and strategize around what do we do if and when this occurs, because the beauty of Florida is that our primaries aren't until August.
Right.
August
Right.
18th is
Right.
our primary for both, for all the parties, and for all y'all that are MPAs and independents watching this. If you want to have a real voice and factor into the situation, I advise you to get a voter registration form, register under a party, so that way you can be able to vote in the primary. And then as soon as the primary is over with, get that voter registration form, register back as an MPA and independent, and go about your business for the general election.
Pause right there, because this is so important, because I remember being on another episode and someone saying that when you're MPA you can vote for local elections. When I moved down here, that wasn't my experience. I came in as MPA because I lived in North Carolina, and you could be MPA and still be able to vote, like on school elections, on the sheriff, on the judges and things like that. That's not the same in Florida, am I right?
So local elections, as long as those elections are nonpartisan, yes, as an MPA you can. But
Okay.
those particular races are literally going to be the only things that's going to show up on your ballot. And
Okay.
so in the August 18th state primary, people that's registered under Democrat or Republican, they're going to see those local races, but they're also going to see their primary for the U.S. Senate. There's literally like 4, maybe 5 people currently running as Democrats for the United States Senate. One of them being current state representative Angie Nixon. Another one being Alex Vindman. But Democrats are going to see that. Democrats are also going to see their primary race for the governor's seat, where we have David Jolly, Dana Foster, and Jerry Demings running as Democrats. If you're an MPA, you're not registered as a Democrat or a Republican, so you're not gonna see that on your ballot. You're only literally gonna see just whatever the nonpartisan races are that you're able to vote for. Which in many cities across the state, there are key nonpartisan races that people who are MPAs will be able to vote for, key crucial races. But we have the ability now to put in a brand new governor in the state of Florida. Ron DeSantis cannot run anymore. Term limited. Ashley Moody is the current United States Senator whose seat is up, and the only reason that her seat is up is because she was appointed as that United States Senator by DeSantis to fulfill the rest of the time that Marco Rubio was serving in 2025, only because Marco Rubio is now the Secretary of State
Right.
appointed by Donald Trump. So now she's running to fulfill his last 2 years of his term. Nobody's running against her as a Republican, so she's pretty much the incumbent coming in. So the primary, when it comes to the U.S. Senate, is going to only be for Democrats. The Republican side of the primary, when it comes to governor,
Right.
is a couple of, there's a couple of people over there. The most the candidate with the most notoriety on the Republican side is Byron
Yep.
Donalds,
Yep.
who's currently a United States congressman serving in the Orlando area. And, like I said, he's now running for governor, already out the gate, been endorsed by
Donald
President
Trump.
Donald Trump. Black guy. You got black guy and a black woman running on the Democratic side. Dana Foster, black woman, out of South Florida, running. Jerry Demings, black man, out of the current mayor of Orange County, running for governor. These are key races. But then you also have school board races that are going to be on the ballot on August the 18th. Currently in Pensacola, Florida, right now, which is a city in Florida on the Panhandle in Northwest Florida. On August the 18th, you're going to see their mayoral race. Their mayoral race is a nonpartisan race. So if you're MPA and you live in Pensacola, you're going to be able to vote for who's the next mayor of Pensacola. Key races like that. But other races that are primaries, that are strictly primaries, if you aren't a Democrat or if you aren't a Republican, you're not going to be able to vote in those primary races. You're going to have to wait until November to vote in the general.
So for me as a voter, like all that you just said is almost like there's a lot of things, different things going on depending on where you are at. So in a way, like for people who are just gaining and even the seasoned people, let's be honest, like how do people know what the rules are based on where they live, right? And then what they can and cannot do based on where they live, based on location, because we're all in Florida, but apparently depending on where you're at, it's different. So how do they get the best like information for them personally?
So each county in the state has an office strictly known as the supervisor of elections. You can actually go to your local supervisor of elections office, physical supervisor of elections office, or you can go on your supervisor of elections website and go through there. Some supervisor elections websites make it easy for you to understand all of the information that you're going to need as far as what's going to be on your ballot. If I'm registered as an MPA, this is literally all that's going to be on my ballot as an MPA. If I'm registered as a Democrat, this is going to be what's on my ballot. Some supervisor elections make it easy. Some of them make it extremely difficult, and that's not by coincidence. That's by choice.
Yeah.
We live in a state where they want to make it as hard as possible for people of all ages, colors, what have you, to vote, unless you're one of those quote unquote seasoned individuals. And then seasoned individuals who are our melanated tone, they trying to make it even extremely harder for us to vote. The Florida State House, just this past week, the Florida State House just literally passed their version of the SAVE Act, the statewide version of the SAVE Act. And one of the things that's going to make it even harder is they're going to look voters up based on how they come up in the division of motor vehicles. If you come up incorrect, even name misspelled, signature wrong, all of the things, if you come up incorrectly, then they're going to automatically kick you off the voter rolls. And in order for you to be able to register or even go, if you register to vote again, the only way you're going to even be able to go vote is if you have to carry additional identification as far as stuff that you're gonna have to vote for, even down to passport. Women who just recently got married or recently divorced, you're gonna have to carry that marriage certificate, or you're gonna have to carry that divorce decree, or you're gonna have to carry some sort of information that represents what it is that what your actual married last name is. It's a lot. It's a lot going on,
Yes.
and you might even have, like I said before, you might even have to carry your birth certificate. And we
Yes.
know that there are a lot of individuals that live in the state of Florida who are still around from Jim Crow era. And some of those people don't even have their birth certificates. They don't have a hospital birth certificate. They don't have a certified, a state of Florida certified birth certificate. So how are you even supposed to approach that particular situation? Many people in the state have lost their vital records due to hurricanes and other natural disasters that have occurred in the state. So now we're back at square one, trying to essentially buy
Yep. Yep.
pieces of vital information in order to go vote. My grandma, my grandma and my grandfather back in the day, they called that a poll tax.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
essentially I gotta go buy another birth certificate, or I
Yes.
gotta go buy a passport literally just to go vote.
Yes, and here it is, like when you're talking about intentionality, right? Because this attacks poor people, right? Who can't afford. Like some people can't afford that because they're already living paycheck to paycheck. So now I gotta buy my birth certificate, and I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, these are the birth certificate, the passport, like these were things that were told, like you don't even let leave your house. You put this in a safe and you never lose it. You know what I mean? So it's like penalizing us. Like if that's gonna be the requirement, then it should at least be free. I'm just saying. Like if it's gonna be a requirement, then that should be free so that everybody has. But like because it's something strategic, that's meant to alienate people, to keep people out of the ballots, on top of what they're already doing with like redistricting, and you know what I mean, like all of these things. So I know there's like all of these things is like, so what do you say to people who don't think voting matters? Like how do you explain like all these things that are done to stop voting, and then people still say like voting is a hoax, it doesn't matter, it doesn't push? What do you say to people like that? Because I know you hear it.
People who people who currently work on a job where their minimum wage isn't determined by the federal government, it's determined by the state. A vote happened in order for your minimum wage to no longer be at
Absolutely.
7.50, 7.75 an
Talk
hour.
about it.
It's now currently at 13, $14 an hour. I keep forgetting what the last increase that just happened, because it's
Yeah.
supposed to incrementally increase until we get to 15
15. Yep.
dollars,
Yep.
and that's because of a vote that happened. Individuals who live in this state, who it would have taken them years upon decades just to get their voting rights restored because they were previously incarcerated. It doesn't take you that long now because of a vote. Now, yes, the state legislature put some barriers in place for that, but we have organizations in the state that will help you to get those barriers removed, and the process still becomes a swifter process than before, and that's because of a vote. Many things that have occurred in this state have occurred because a vote happened or because a vote didn't happen. Fair maps for redistricting in this state it's supposed to occur in this state, and it's supposed to occur in this state because of a vote. In
Speak
2010,
on it.
63%
Yes.
of Floridians voted in favor of a fair districts amendment that is supposed to keep our maps safe from partisan gerrymandering, which is pretty much gerrymandering based on your party, or racial gerrymandering, which is them drawing the maps to either draw black people out of a certain district or draw black people into a certain district, and even literally just crowd all of the black people into one district. So that's literally the only district that they have in that particular area of the state. But a vote occurred so that way we would have fair and righteous representation in the state of Florida in Congress. But even now, these things are, they're fighting against these things. And they're fighting against these things because they know and understand that if the power truly really rested in the hands of the people, a lot of things that occur in this state would not happen. We would not be in a space where we are having an affordability crisis in the state. We would not be in a space where the state still has not determined what the true definition of affordable housing is. We would not be in a space where you have to go through hoops and hurdles just to even register to vote. We could possibly be in a space where we would have people in office in the state legislature that would be in favor of a statewide voting rights act that would put us in a space for same-day voter registration. A lot of the barriers that happen from the state legislature putting barriers on Amendment 4, those being removed, being able to have fair access to ballots, being able to have accurate information as far as what's going on at your polling location. All of these things are in the Harry T. and Harriet V. Moore Voting Rights Act, which is our statewide voting rights act here in the state of Florida. But all of that is only determined by using the tool, not the end all be all towards victory, but a tool towards victory and liberation for black people, which is your vote.
Thank you. Thank you for that, because I don't think people realize like the benefits, like the benefits they receive, or like what happened in order. You know what I mean? Like they see like, oh yeah, they said statewide we're supposed to increase minimum wage to $15, but like no one's asking the question, or maybe there's seldom asked the question, how did we get here, right? Because you often, I hear it more than ever, and I even, everyone has a family member that's like, why do I vote? Why do I need to vote? I don't need to vote. I don't even vote. You know what I mean? So thank you for like just drawing that roundabout, like how this works. This is how powerful your voice is. If you vote, like so many things can happen. But like, why do you feel like, most people when they vote, they know about the presidential election. Like, we know November, most people show out in numbers, right? But it's not so much for local elections. Like, what's the risk of not showing up for local elections?
Your city giving close to 55 to 60% of your city budget to the police. That's the risk of not showing up for citywide and municipal elections. And that's a real thing here in Jacksonville. That's honestly a real thing in most of the cities, not just across the state of Florida, but in the country. But yeah, your favorite nonprofit or your favorite youth program not being able to be given the proper funding that it needs to be given in order to continue the work. When they used to be given city funding before, and now they're not being given city funding because your city council has determined that that particular program fits under DEI, and now we are no longer giving funding to DEI type programs. That's what happens when you don't vote in a local election. We're not even talking about the U.S. Senate. We're not even talking about Congress. We're talking about literal county commissions and city councils and mayors creating legislation that puts limits on who in their city can be given adequate city funding that's already been earmarked
Right.
in the budget, by the way. But now we want to move this funding over to something else. And the reason why we're giving that we're moving this funding somewhere else is because we no longer want to fund DEI. We no longer want to fund DEI programs.
What you know is, maybe it's just me, but I just feel like that's a hoax anyway, because to say anything like not funding DEI to me equals like funding white supremacy. Like, let's be honest, right? Like, I hate to say it, but like, what do you mean? Black and brown people, like the people of color, make up this country just as much as any other. You know what I mean? So like, even saying these things that were put in place, like these DEI affirmative action, that was put in place because we were not getting it naturally. Period. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
to sit here and try to make this about like, oh, now like, you know, we don't want to hear the word DEI, we don't want to hear like affirmative action, it's not needed anymore. Clearly it is.
And the thing about it is a lot of DEI / affirmative action programs don't just benefit people of color. It doesn't just
Ooh, yeah.
benefit women.
Yes.
It also
Yes.
benefits disabled people. It also
Yes.
benefits people who are on many areas of the spectrum. Like
Yes.
it benefits these programs benefit everyone. And
And
that's the
let's
thing that they're not getting.
not leave out veterans, right? Like senior citizens, right? Like it affects everyone. It's and I'm not trying to be facetious here, but I'm like, imagine voting against DEI and not realizing you're cutting your own legs off. Literally.
Like voting against DEI and not realizing that you just stopped that Meals on Wheels program that Mimo benefits from every week, that they deliver these bills to her retirement home. And now you voted for
Yes.
somebody who literally cut that off, and you're trying to figure out
What happened?
why you have to pay extra money out of your pocket in order for your grandmother or your mother to be able to receive food when she's been receiving food from this program
All this
for damn
time.
decades.
Yes. No, absolutely. So then, getting back to local elections specifically, like, what's your perspective in terms of like which local positions hold the most day-to-day influence in our communities? And
That's
go ahead.
it's definitely your city councilman. It's definitely your school board members. If it wasn't your school board members, then Moms for Liberty would not be trying to bum rush the show on every school board here in the state of Florida, to determine what type of curriculum is or is not going to be taught by teachers across the state. Um, yeah, no, um, city councilman, school board, a lot of cities and counties across the state, they have soil and water boards. They
Yes.
determine the agricultural outlook of your particular city or your particular county. These things are very important to the lasting effects on your city, not just from a political standpoint, but also from a health and wellness standpoint as well.
No, you're absolutely right because even in organizations that I interact with that are trying to do like community growing, like there was even the question of if we could plant oranges, where like Florida is known for the orange state, and apparently there was just this whole thing that was passed locally, essentially removing oranges and citrus fruit because of whatever reason. But it's like we can't even grow our own food. Like we're forced to go to the store, and then the store prices are expensive. Like, have you ever bought a bag of oranges, especially like at Publix? That's expensive. So it's just, it's there's little symbols of day-to-day interactions that make you realize like something is happening. And like I just want to really drive home to the audience of how much like voting attributes to that.
I even give you another example. Like I'm driving down the street today, and I looked at like three or four gas stations, and the gas is currently at $3.50. I'm like, gas is literally like $3.50 right now. Like gas is literally at $3.50, and the person who determines that here in the state of Florida is the commissioner of agriculture, and the commissioner of agriculture is an actual position that is on your ballot that you vote for every 4 years, the same time that you vote for the same time you vote for the governor, you vote for the attorney general, and you vote for the commissioner of agriculture, and you vote for the chief financial officer. These are things that you actually vote for on the ballot that not too many people really know about. But the commissioner of agriculture is the person who determines gas prices in the state of Florida.
My brain just went like, what? Like, now when you're saying it, it makes sense, right? Because like I'm thinking, of course it does, like agriculture, gas. But I'm like, I would have never, like when I think of agriculture, I think of like greenery, right? Like water conservation. Like I think of that kind of things. I don't think of like my gas prices. So
The thing that was like the mind blowing effect for me in knowing that I was pumping gas one day, and so in 2022, as we all know, Nikki Fried was running for governor. But at the time that Nikki Fried was running for governor in 2022, Nikki Fried was also the commissioner of agriculture. So I'm pumping gas, and I'm literally looking at the gas pump,
yeah.
and it says for more information on gas prices, da 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 da, contact the Florida Commissioner of Agriculture, Nikki Fried. I was like, yo, like that's what determines the gas prices. And I
Yeah.
googled it and looked it up, and I was
That's wild.
like this is so yeah, like it is literally the Commissioner of Agriculture in the state of Florida who's the person that determines where these gas prices be at, and don't let them tell y'all
Oh,
that
oh.
it's because of this fake war in Iran. It's literally because of capitalism and how these gas companies be lobbying on a statewide level to keep gas prices as expensive as they are.
Tell
And
all
they
the secrets. Tell all of them. Nom, 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 nom.
and they use Iran as a front. So yeah,
Hey, hey. Thank you for that. So then let's talk about this because now you're touching on like misinformation. So what do voters like commonly misunderstand about locals and state elections?
that everything that every issue that they have, the only person that literally can deal with it is the president of the United States.
Yes,
Or the only person that can literally
yes.
deal with it is that person that I sent to Washington for the U.S. House or the U.S. Senate. But they definitely just be believing that the president is the only person that can deal with it. And I be want to tell them
Yes.
sometimes like, okay, well if that's the case, then what's the point of having a governor for
Right.
your state if the
Right.
president is the only person that deal with this stuff? What's the point of
Right.
having a mayor for your city if the president is the only person that deal? Like there's certain
You know.
things that happen in your community that there's a specific person that is not Donald Trump or Joe Biden or
Right.
Barack
Right.
Obama
Right.
that deals that
Right.
deals with that stuff, and you have to know. And a lot of that rests on us as organizers to really give information out, to really educate our communities around whatever the issue is that's important to you, what person it is in your particular community, your particular city, in your county that determines how that issue gets handled.
Yes. No, it is exactly that because the saying I get so tired of hearing like the president, and then seeing like the ballots you clearly see it, but I can't blame people for not knowing because we stay in this day of struggle, right? Like if we're constantly fighting for a paycheck, we're not doing our research. And I'm gonna be the one to tell you, Orange County, like supervisor of elections, I never knew. I thought that it was like a learning I thought it was me. I'm gonna be honest. I was like, man, there's something that I'm doing wrong. But then I went to California's and saw how easy theirs were to read and to navigate and everything. And I'm like, something is amiss between the two. I'm just saying, it's so difficult to pull information, even in the terms of like, I wanted to make little cards that talked about every person that was elected official and just trying to get like consistent information about everyone. It's not organized. That might have changed since the last time I've checked because it was the last election cycle, but it's not easy. And some of these things can really be misleading. So you as an organizer talking to different organizations that really are at the forefront of getting people like educated when it comes to voting, how can they recognize when something is misleading? Like, what are key indicators that people can look for in this term? And like, what habits should voters start building so they can feel like confident and prepared for August elections? I'm not even going to say November yet. Let's talk about August.
Uh, I think the best way to spot misinformation or disinformation is if that particular piece of information is too, if it's too partisan leaning, then you probably dealing with some BS and you need to go research that on your own. If that particular piece of information has a strong racial undertone to it, then you're probably dealing with some BS and you need to go research that on your
Yes,
own.
yeah.
Like it's so
Yes.
many things, and also at the same time, a lot of times it's literally sometimes not just the message, but the messenger that's giving
Yes.
the message. I can appreciate podcasts like Blactrospective,
Thank you.
like Grits and Eggs,
Yes.
like FD Signifier, because these are people that are going to give you accurate information, but they're also going to give you information that has some sort of sources
Yes.
to it.
Yes.
It's too many red pill bros and podcast bros out here who, because they got a mic, they feel like they know everything,
Just
like
be
everything,
just be loud and wrong all the time. Just loud and wrong.
all the time. So much all the time. Like, because of the fact that you have spent decades upon decades doing sports broadcasting and doing First Take on ESPN, who gave Stephen A. Smith the
Right.
green light to say I can speak on politics? Like,
No.
no, absolutely
No.
not. Like,
Yes.
no, 0 out of 10. Do not recommend. And so, that's it. Like that is that's the big basis of it. We have to continue to lean into trusted sources. We have to become our own trusted source and do the research ourselves. And there are people who are around us who have this valued information that is willing to train and and mentor us to make sure that we have this valued information as well.
Yes. No, you're absolutely right. Like that has been one of the things that I've appreciated because when I wasn't looking for it, I didn't see it, but then the more I just got more engaged with the community, just running into people that just know so much about our political infrastructure and how it works and how it can be impactful because the it's not just simply to vote. It's to vote with power, vote with knowledge, vote with research, going in there. I'll say this all the time, even with my children, we would sit and we would watch the debates. Like we saw the Marco Rubio versus Val Demings debate, and I didn't say anything. I let my kids just like watch it and then like come to their own conclusions. And kids are so much smarter than you give them. You don't have to tell them, right? If you've taught them the social cues, they pick it up just like that. I didn't have to say a word. Like they were picking up inconsistencies, and like we were doing it from a nonpartisan lens. And even like going to do our homework. Like first we read about what the candidates say versus like what they do, because some of these candidates are in office, right? So you can look up their bills. You can look up Florida. I think you can type into the URL like Senate House bills for your state, and it'll show you, and you can look up them by names. You can see what they advocated for, what they sponsored, what they co-sponsored, what they voted yes and no on. There's a lot of visibility in the state of Florida. I can't speak for every state, but I can say for that piece, which I've been very grateful for. So how do you define like what informed voting looks like, and what are key questions that voters can take with them when asking questions to their candidates? Like what are some like must ask questions that you would say, if you have any?
Think of the three think of the three issues that are most important to you, and do as much research on those issues as you can. And when you walk in and have conversations with these candidates, if you see these candidates anywhere, like I actually used to live in Pensacola before I moved here to Jacksonville in 2022. Some of these people that ran for city council and county commission, like I used to literally see these people in the grocery store. I used to literally see these people at the function, you know what I'm saying, the function, the kickback.
Yeah.
I used to literally see these people there. I used to literally look at them in the face and be like, hey, so what are y'all gonna do about this particular situation that's going on over in the Wedgwood district? And this situation I'm about to bring up is a real life situation. What are y'all gonna do about this situation in the Wedgwood district where these people are living around 6 landfills?
Oh god.
And they are taking in all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Because they living around these landfills. Like y'all do know a lot of these deaths that were cancerous deaths that happened in this district has been intrinsically tied to these landfills. What y'all gonna do about that? Because not only is that a state legislative issue, that's also a county issue, and that's also a city issue, because that area is city area.
Right.
So it's like, you know, that's y'all. What are y'all gonna do about that? Like that's on y'all. So being able to have organizers that surround you in your community that can train you to have those tough conversations. They'll train you on the true talking points for your particular issue. I mean, and you said it already, Mal. Like, get with an organization. Like, be a part of an organization, and be a part of an organization that does sound and accurate political education.
Yes.
And that's the most key piece that we miss sometimes when we're organizing out in the streets. Marches are effective tools towards Black liberation. Rallies are effective tools towards Black liberation. But sometimes you have to have those actual listening sessions.
Yes.
You have to have those actual house sessions where you're doing accurate and sound political education with the homies, you know. So
yes. No, thank you for that, because it's exactly that. I just, in you speaking about landfills, also I want to talk about data centers. I know we're like 7 minutes out for the end of the show, but like when we're talking about landfills, let's not ignore the upcoming landfills, which are the data centers that are actually sources of pollution. And I bring this up because Eatonville, which is is the first incorporated Black town in the nation, right? Like they have a data center now in their community. Yeah, it's being built in their community. And when I say this stuff is just like as bad as a landfill, it pollutes the air. It's already it really looks like predatory. You're going to tell people that this is here for jobs and things like that, but it's really also at the same time killing the folks that live there. So I just wanted to like uplift that as well, just so that people know that this is like this is where your elected officials come in, and these are also because it's such a important time for candidates too. When you're speaking to them now, because they're showing up to your parades, they're showing up to your local events, they're smiling in your faces, they're telling you that they care, they care, they care. Make sure they have a plan of showing. I always say love is an action word. They need to show with their actions, not necessarily their mouths. I don't want to hear it. I want to see it. I want to feel it. Okay? And I say that because I want y'all to love me like I love myself. Okay? If you're my elected official, love me in the way of making sure that I can have a life, that I can afford a life for my kids, my family. I don't have to worry about my mom and dad. I don't even have to worry about my dog. You know what I mean? Like, I just need us to like think of it from that perspective, because it's not just on us. I can't stand being in a room where people are like, well, we just need to pay more taxes. That's what? What are they doing with my tax money now? You know what I mean? Like, I just can't. So I want to wrap this up kind of in a way of just saying, like, outside of voting itself, asking you, like, what are other civic engagement strategies or tactics everyday people can use that can actually shift outcomes, like, for returning citizens, because they don't necessarily, just because they're returning citizens, have the right to vote, or like people who are not politically engaged. How do they start working towards civic engagement outside of voting?
Um, First thing, as we stated before, get involved with a solid organization. Learn when your city council meetings happen, when your county commission meetings happen, and when your school board meetings happen, and learn the things that they are going to speak on and the pieces of legislation that they are going to attempt to pass. And even if you don't even learn about the pieces of legislation that they're going to pass, the issues that you care about, they give you an opportunity during every city council meeting or every school board meeting for public comment. You can literally take 2 to 3 minutes and get on a mic and tell these people why they need to fix that sidewalk that has a huge hole in the sidewalk, and it's been had a huge hole in the sidewalk for the last 25 years that you've been living in that neighborhood, and somebody need to come fix this sidewalk
Yes.
before I
Yes.
start galvanizing all my friends and family that live in the neighborhood, and we gonna start doing the protests
Yes, yes,
around
yes,
this
yes, yes,
hole in the
yes,
sidewalk.
yes.
And they'll listen,
Yeah.
especially if it's an election year. They gonna
Yes.
absolutely listen to the fact that if you don't come fix this sidewalk, I just now found out who my
Yes.
city council member is,
Yes.
and I just found out that your seat is up for an election, and we
Mm-hmm.
can find somebody else to be in your seat that's gonna come and
Power.
fix this sidewalk.
That's what power looks like. Okay, that's what power looks like. They're going crazy in the chat. I see y'all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Someone said that the real IDs is needed for everything. Someone else said knowledge is power. Um, Someone else said I want to feel and see the love. Exactly. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all your contributions and comments in terms of that, because that's a very real thing. So I'm gonna wrap this up by asking you, if voters remember one thing about today's conversation, what should it be?
That power is not a negative word, as much as they try to make it seem as though it is. Power is the very thing that we have in order to enact change within not just our sphere of influence, but within our community and also within this world.
Thank you. Yeah, because as soon as you said power, I was like, especially when you put black in front of that power.
Literally.
Literally, right? So, Jamil, where can people find you? Like, how can they get connected with you?
So with me, I'm also a recording artist that goes by the name of Jamal Still. So that's
Hey,
JAMALSTEELE. On
hey.
all social media platforms. I also host the podcast BLKFLA, the podcast, which is the intersection of Black politics and Black culture.
Hey,
And on Instagram, that's BLKFLA, the podcast, which is
hey.
exactly how I spell it. And
Wait.
to
The with THE or DA? Because you know we use both.
THE, literally, like I said, how I spell how the non-melanated people spell it,
Yeah.
THE. And of course, if you want to follow our organization, is Black Voters Matter. Black Voters Matter, and on all social media is Black Voters MTR.
Hey,
Black Voters MTR. So yeah, that's
perfect.
it. We here.
Hey, thank you so much. So, y'all, if you love this episode and want to support the work that we do, please like, share, subscribe, or buy me a coffee. That link is in the bio. You can be a part of the subscription. We got a little tings out there on that website for y'all. It's real cute. So thank you for starting the hard conversation with us, getting comfortable with being uncomfortable, because informed communities build real change. So stay informed, stay empowered, and as always, love, peace, and support Black businesses. Hey, and we outie. See y'all.